So today's video, we're gonna check out the brand new Razer Hammerhead True Wireless Earbuds. And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm excited about doing this video because when I covered the first gen of this product, I did make a comment that I felt they needed chroma RGB lighting. I felt like it was just lacking because the earbud itself had a bland design. It didn't stand out. But because I made that comment and because I said the first gen had awful battery life, because it only got like 4 hours max on the earbud itself, I just had so many comments come through where people all of a sudden became engineers where they knew that RGB lighting would not be able to fit in a pair of earbuds. It just wouldn't house the components because it would make the earbuds really large. It also would cut down your battery life to 30 minutes to an hour at best. Why would you want something like this? Well, me personally, I probably would never use the RGB lighting on the earbuds. The whole complaint was they needed that one thing to make it stand out. And I always think it's good just to give people features, whether they're gonna use it or not, but at least it's out there. So Razer has now released the second gen of the Razer Hammerhead True Wireless Earbuds, and they've now added the chroma lighting onto it. They've also vastly improved the battery life over the originals, and they've even added active noise canceling. They've added Google Fast Pair, where it will just automatically pop up on your Android phone so you can easily connect to it. They've added so many new features to this product where I technically don't think they should have called it the Razer Hammerhead second gen True Wireless Earbuds. These really should be the Razer Hammerhead Pro Lite because they're a lot closer to the Pro earbuds than they are the first gen Hammerhead True Wireless Earbuds. But we're gonna check out all the features they do have. We're gonna talk about the sound. We're gonna see what all comes inside the box and see if it's worth the price bump up to $129. So let's go ahead and start with the battery life. Now there's different variations of what you could get if you're gonna have the lighting on or the noise canceling on or just one of them on or none of them on. So I'm just gonna give the minimum and the max, but I'll show you on the screen here what they're rated at. If you decide to use these with the noise canceling and the lighting off, you can get 6.5 hours on the earbuds themselves with around 32 hours using the case. Now, keep in mind the original ones had only 4 hours on the earbuds and only 16 hours total using the case. So we know that is very low battery life compared to a lot of the other ones. But with the new battery life, I think that is a significant jump. And even using these with the noise canceling on and the lighting on, it still has 4 hours on the earbuds and 20 hours using the case. So it matches what the original ones had, but it also improved the battery life because of the case. And another thing that I do want to point out though, they did shrink the drivers on these from 13 millimeters to 10 millimeters. And I think that they were able to do this. Obviously they needed to do it to save on some of the battery life, but they were able to do that because this pair now has the silicone ear tips, where the first gen was just a pair that kind of sat in your ears like Apple's AirPods, where it didn't have the ear tip. They did include some kind of little silicone grip, but it just didn't work that well. And now with having actual ear tips, it actually performs like a pair of earbuds because now you have better bass response, your sound is better, and you're able to block out a lot of your surroundings. And that's also important because this pair has active noise canceling. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do before actually using the earbuds is you're going to want to download Razer's app, but you're also going to want to download their Chroma app because that is used separately to control the lighting. But with Razer's app, it now has different EQ options. You can even go in and customize the EQ settings yourself. You can switch around your controls if you want one earbud to do something instead of the other earbud doing it. And then you can also get all of your updates all through the app. But again, do keep in mind you have to download that Chroma app separately to be able to change the lighting. And the lighting on these, it kind of mimics some of the features that other Razer products have. You can have it where it cycles through all the different colors. You can have it just stay one solid color. And you can even actually have it react to the music you're listening to. Now, I don't know how beneficial that is because people aren't going to be able to hear what you're listening to, and then you're never really going to be able to see the lighting that's in your ears anyway. But it is there. It is a feature that you can use. And again, whether people use it or not, it's nice to have those features out there. Now, as far as any of the other technology, they did go from Bluetooth 5.0 to now these having Bluetooth 5.2, but sadly they didn't add aptX support. They still only support AAC and SBC, but I didn't notice any kind of compression in the audio. This could be one of the cases where Razer just doesn't want to pay to have that aptX certification, because these perform just like other earbuds that actually have that aptX support. Now, one thing that they did keep the same on this pair that was on the first gen is this pair also has a gaming mode, which with this being a Razer product, that kind of makes sense. But it brings the latency down to 60 milliseconds. So if you're going to be using your phone or tablet or whatever for gaming, this cuts down on having any kind of lag there, even though there is a slight lag because 60 milliseconds is still going to be a little bit of a delay between what you're doing and the sound. But when it comes to movies and videos and things like that, I didn't experience any kind of lag. So this is really a good pair for all different types of media. So now to touch on the ANC and the ambient mode that these have, the active noise canceling that's on this new pair is just okay. It's nowhere near as good as the active noise canceling that's on the Hammerhead Pros. It's nice that it has noise canceling where the first gen didn't have it. In fact, the first gen didn't even have passive noise canceling. It didn't block your ear canal at all. But this pair is really doing just enough to dull out some of the sounds around you. You can tell if you're listening to something and you have a fan going or an AC unit, or if you're in a car and you could hear the engine, you're still going to be able to hear some of that, but it definitely dulls it down quite a bit. So if you're looking for a pair for noise canceling alone, I think there's much better options. In fact, there's even better options lower than $130. So I would not go into this pair expecting incredible noise canceling. But when it comes to the ambient mode, I was quite surprised at how well it did. The mics just happen to pick up everything very well. Now, it does give things kind of a digital sound, but if you need to hear your surroundings and you need to hear cars or people talking to you, this pair does an excellent job where you can do that without actually taking the earbuds out of your ears. And another thing that they didn't change over the original ones is this pair still only has an IPX4 rating, but now it makes sense because most earbuds that have active noise canceling, IPX4 seems to be about the norm. So when the first gen came out and it was only IPX4 and it didn't have noise canceling, it just kind of made it a little more confusing why it didn't have a higher rating. So this pair is going to be fine if you're going to use them at the gym and you sweat. They'll be fine if you're outdoors and it starts to rain. But this is still one of those pairs you don't really want to drop into water. Now, moving over to checking out the case and the earbuds themselves, the case doesn't even resemble the first gen either. This is very similar to the Razer Hammerhead Pro case. In fact, it kind of looks a lot like the AirPods Pro case, and maybe that's where some of the improved battery life comes from. But on the bottom, you can see your USB-C input for charging, and then around on the front, you have a single indicator light, and that way you can just kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. But a couple of things that I wish that these had that they still didn't add over the originals is the case is still not a Qi wireless charging case. You have to actually charge it with the USB-C cable. And it also doesn't have fast charging. And I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed at this because the price of the earbuds did go up. But not having Qi wireless charging or a fast charge feature is definitely going to be a drawback. But moving over to looking at the earbuds, like I said, this pair has the RGB chroma lighting and it actually looks really good even though you can't see it in your ear. Do keep in mind you can turn that off within the app and you don't have to mess with the lighting if you don't want to. Now this pair does have touch controls and I'm happy to say that they give you control over everything. So on top of being able to play, pause, skip your tracks forward, go backwards, turn your volume up and down, you're also able to switch them into gaming mode, and you're also able to switch between your noise canceling on, your noise canceling off, or your ambient mode all from the earbud. So you don't have to pull out your phone, you don't have to go to the app. And again, I just always find it convenient to be able to control everything right there on the earbuds. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for phone calls, another area that they did improve upon is the microphones. They now have environmental noise canceling. So if you're going to be using these in a crowded area, it's going to do a pretty good job at focusing in on your voice and doing what it can to block out a lot of your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. And so here's the mic test using the second gen Hammerhead True Wireless earbuds. This is an improvement over the original ones, even though it still may not be its strongest suit, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call.
And so here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound, because the sound of these out of the box wasn't very good at all. In fact, it was overly boomy, it was too warm, and it was congested sounding. In fact, it reminded me a lot of Razer's old gaming headsets, where they just wanted to give you as much bass. It didn't matter if it was bloated and muddy. And the earbuds, I just thought that there was going to be a huge drop off when it came to audio quality, especially compared to the Pros, which I really enjoy. But luckily, again, having that app and being able to EQ these, I had to play around with the EQ settings quite a bit because the pre-built ones in there, I still didn't like the way that they sounded. But I am going to show it on the screen right here where you can see the way that I EQ'd these. And this sound was almost identical to the Hammerhead Pros. It just became much brighter. The details came out a lot cleaner. In fact, I could even get the treble to almost be harsh. So to go from having a very dull treble out of the box to be able to bring it up like that, it just went on to show that these earbuds actually responded very well to being EQ'd. There's some earbuds you can go in and try to change EQ settings and you can't tell much of a difference. But I was able to dial the bass down but still allow it to have a pretty good bit of punch. Mids always actually sounded decent. It was just buried the way it was out of the box. So I didn't have to do too much there, but the treble definitely needed to be boosted. And it also bumped up the volume quite a bit as well. I don't know why they would be EQ'd the way that they were out of the box. I wish Razer would have done something different there, because some people are just going to immediately think they sound bad, throw them back in the box, and send them back to Amazon. Now, when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, again, out of the box, it sounded very closed in. Being able to hear details was even hard to do, so it just didn't work very well. But once I EQ'd these, you can tell it opened them up. You can tell that details were a lot cleaner, and you could easily be able to tell where things were coming from. But I do still have to go back to some of the cons that I had. I still wish that the case was a Qi wireless charging case, or at least had a fast charge feature. I don't like the fact that the ANC is weak, because I feel like that's why they bumped up the price on these. So I think it would have benefited them more to be comparable to the Pros over the first gen of the Hammerheads, because some people are going to think, why did they raise the price? But do keep in mind, you are now getting much better battery life. You're getting active noise canceling, whether it's very good or not. You now have that Google Fast Pair feature, which a lot of people like this. So I think this is an obvious improvement over the first gen. I would even recommend these over the Hammerhead Pros if you don't need active noise canceling. I think they did a very good job of bumping up the value, but I also feel like they kind of missed the mark by even adding active noise canceling at all. I think if you didn't add that and you could keep them maybe closer to $100, this would easily be a no-brainer, but I still would recommend them. I think once you EQ them, you can get incredible sound. And I do actually like the lighting. I may never use it, but I do like the option that it's there in case I just happen to want to use it. But guys, that's my video on the second gen Razer Hammerhead True Wireless Earbuds. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.